We have flames in our heart too, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Evan, joined as always by my co-host, Lauren and Bruce, and our guest, Kayla, who I don't know if we should just, start calling them and also co-host, because they're going to be here a little bit.
I mean, they are a co-host.
You're stuck with me forever.
You're going to be doing this till you're 90.
Yeah.
There's not that many games.
Oh my god. Not yet.
Yes, but there's
Oh, give it
plenty of
time.
extended media.
Oh,
and
yes, there
other things
is.
to talk about tangentially related. We
Yeah,
could go
Kayla's
forever.
stuck with us forever.
Well, but we've been doing that media, and this game was released at the 15th anniversary, and we're coming up on the 35th anniversary, so we're not quite halfway, but...
Oh god, that's right, we're 20 years out from this game, almost.
Oh god.
Yeah, but if you just start talking about the people behind the work and the other work that they did, you could just go out forever.
Totally tangentially related. We've talked about doing that even.
Alright, well, let's stick with Sonic for now. This is our, what is it, our fourth part?
Third.
No, third.
Fourth.
No. Fourth part of
Fourth,
Sonic 06. And today we are covering the second half of Silver's campaign. Last time we went through his entire beginning part, and, well, mostly we just fucking twiddled our thumbs because the story's not going anywhere so far. But,
yeah,
that all changed when we got into a fight with Sonic the Hedgehog and beat the crap out of him.
oh my god, this fight was so much easier.
Finish.
It was.
But,
In fact, it was so glorious that when the game decided, that's it, that's the peak. And in the cutscene that follows, it just froze entirely.
oh, your game froze here?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it did during this cutscene. And I restarted, and it kept freezing at the same point, so I had to skip it.
Oh my god,
no.
that's incredible.
Did you at least look up the cutscene?
I did, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, because I did want to talk about this, because things do play out like they do in Sonic's campaign, where we corner Sonic, but then Amy steps in to stop him. And we get a little bit more, because Amy refuses to move even when Silver tells her to get out of the way, and he even raises her hand towards her. Oh no.
Oh no, domestic abuse Silver.
But what she says is a little weird here, because she says even if Sonic actually were the reason the world is doomed, which he obviously isn't, which is why she's saying this, she would still choose Sonic over the world.
It's a very Amy line, I gotta say.
It is a very, or this era of Amy line at least.
Yeah, I am talking about this era.
Yeah, the Amy we've been seeing for the last 2 years, would definitely say that.
This is Heroes Battle Amy.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not as psychotic, but definitely same energy.
Yeah, it's a case of, I get what they're going for, right? It's meant to be that she's so dedicated and she knows that Sonic's in the right, but it really does sound like I would blow up the world if Sonic wanted me to, you know?
Yeah, kinda.
She would, though.
Oh yeah, she would.
Yeah, but Kayla, save me. Say something about this.
No, Devin's all on his own. I'm staying out of this.
Well, she is
No, she is really crazy during this whole era. And
This
as
is
someone who used to hate Amy, I feel so bad, and I'm glad that she's written a lot better now.
I know,
Yeah.
it's like this is so much that because it's so close to making sense, because I think they lean into the betrayal aspect of the person you're trying to find was my Sonic, and it's I don't care what you think he does, I know better, or something like that. But no, it's literally if Sonic was the evil trigger, I wouldn't care. What do you mean? You should care.
If Sonic destroyed the world, I'd be there destroying it with him.
She absolutely would. Yeah, she would.
That's an Archie alternate universe idea. Is the universe where Sonic is evil and Amy is evil right with him, and they actually are together. That's the only one where they're together.
Oh my gosh, that's actually a great idea.
That's a funny idea. Yeah, I'd read that story.
I can't wait for you guys to get back to reading the Archie comics then.
Oh, I know what they do with their version of some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm kind of cackling.
Anywho, so Silver does not end up killing Sonic. Sonic gets away, and I guess Amy just walks off. I don't know. Silver leaves, I suppose. He
I would
goes
say she went to go chase Sonic, but she's never in Sonic's story beyond this cutscene, right?
Yeah.
I guess not. Yeah.
So you can't even say she went to go chase after Sonic.
Yeah. So Silver goes and he sits on some stairs to brood. And hey, Blaze, where have you been?
Oh, Blaze, she's part of the story once again. She's only part of the story when the writers need her to be.
She needs
It really
to
feels that
say,
way.
Silver, you're so naive. Now go kill the Iblis Trigger who I still don't realize is Sonic.
Yeah, it's so weird this whole because like I don't know. Given that neither of them knew the other one was safe, you would think that like they would reunite, have a little more emotions.
At first, it would
But-
be like, "Oh, good, you're alive. Now go
Yeah.
kill the Iblis Trigger."
Well, so yeah, that's the other thing is that Silver is posturing like, is it okay to murder a seemingly good person to keep the world from being destroyed? And then Blaze says, "You're so naive," and then he says, "Well, what should I do?" And she's like, she doesn't really answer. You're saying go kill the
Yeah.
Iblis Trigger. She doesn't say that. She just calls him naive, and then when he asks what to do, she doesn't answer.
Well, I mean, the way I read it was she's not going to say it to his face because that's kind of awkward, but she was basically nudging him in that direction.
Kind of.
I guess. It's so strange though when she was in Wave Ocean, she's like, "Oh no, I've got to get to him quick." But now it's like, "Yeah, I got to do it."
Do whatever you want, kid.
Why are you
this is-
wasting time?
This is so weird characterization for Blaze. It doesn't feel like her.
It does feel like a really weird characterization of her.
But it's also weird because she says, "If we miss this chance, the future won't be saved." And so Silver says, "You're right. We have to go after Dr. Eggman."
How does
I
Silver
mean-
know who Eggman is?
Good question.
Well, my brain is
He's
trying to force
he's
Eggman
been reading
Mega
the
in there somehow,
news.
but I don't think there's a good way to make it work.
He's been
Yeah,
reading.
the problem is
news.
Eggman has to die for Silver's future to exist, so...
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. How does Eggman Nega exist in Sonic Rush as Eggman's descendant if Eggman dies in this game and they change the timeline?
Eggman already
what
had a
was the-
child.
Almost like
Retcons.
time travel doesn't make sense in this game.
No, Eggman already had a child.
Oh, I mean, I guess there's no
That's
proof he
unfortunate.
didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's weird. Let's go ahead. Anyway,
Yeah.
the reason that Silver says he says that Sonic is chasing after Eggman and will find Sonic by going to Eggman, but that's not true. Eggman is chasing Sonic. It's the other way around.
Even the writers didn't give a shit.
Yeah. But we have to head for White Acropolis now, and I hope you're happy with wandering around the big city slowly. I didn't remember
Yeah,
where to
the
go
hub
here.
sections are pointless as always.
Yeah.
Along the way, you do pick up the best upgrade that Silver has, though, the shock bracelet.
Yeah,
Oh,
once it-
yes.
Once
this
again, the game
upgrade is-
doesn't actually tell you
so-
you need it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's typical for the hub sections.
Yeah, I
But
know.
Yes,
I'm
this
just bitter.
upgrade is a godsend, especially in one of the stages we're going to be coming up for.
It's funny. When I initially used it, I thought it was super underwhelming. And then I
Well-
realized how to use it. I'm like, oh shit. This thing
So
bangs.
specifically, what's good about it is that it makes the slap obsolete, because
Right.
Silver Slap has such short range, and you can only do it once, and it stops you from moving. But the Psycho Smash, it's called, I believe, is a ground pound that does an AoE in a big area around Silver, so you can just do that in the middle of a bunch of enemies, pick them up, and throw them all really fast.
Right.
So, I mean, that's closer to what it should have been from the start, perhaps, but
Yeah.
it definitely
Right.
takes some of the weight off.
I mean, I don't mind having, like, increasing power throughout the game. Like, it's kind of weird to buy it from the store, but if Silver's, like, refining their psychic powers, I don't mind that.
Well, yeah.
Welcome-
Okay.
Welcome to Soliana. We sell modifications for psychics.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah,
odd, but
yeah,
I
that's
don't think about that
interesting.
too much.
That is actually one little detail that probably lends some credence to the Blazes from the Future in 06 theory. But I think it was the manual that stated that in the future, having various kinds of psychic powers is actually supposed to be relatively common.
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah, I did not know that was a thing.
So what, Blaze's fire powers are actually pyrokinesis?
Well,
I mean,
that doesn't surprise me.
They are that either way, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
it-
thought it was somehow linked to, like, the fact that she was princess or something or other.
I
Admittedly,
mean,
so did I.
maybe. They're very light on lore with regards to the Sol Empire.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Disappointed.
might be both? Question mark.
We'll have to
Everybody in the royal
come around to
family
that
has
Sonic Channel art that
pyrokinesis.
implies Big might have been the previous king as well.
Oh my
What?
gosh!
What?
We'll get to it later. Anyway,
Okay.
Okay.
let's go ahead into White Acropolis. You have to Psycho Smash 3 switches to open the door, which Bruce didn't know, so... hey,
Yeah.
you start off this level
Okay.
playing as Blaze, so that's a good first impression.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that Blaze doesn't get Sonic's gimmick, so I don't have to snowboard here.
Oh, thank God, yeah.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was the one blessing.
It does mean that Silver has to do the searchlight section that Tails did before. Although the newfound power he's got certainly makes it more enjoyable than previous levels. But
yeah, with Silver's power set, I once again enjoy this because you can sort of skip sections again if you're clever with psychic flight or jumping on top of boxes. You don't really have to bother with a lot of the level.
yeah, it
Kind of,
it makes
yeah.
it weird because like previous levels, like we've played some sections that Sonic went through. This one is the most similar to Sonic's level out of any of them. You take basically the exact same path.
Mm.
I thought it was the same actually stage, maybe with minor adjustments, but like the same basic layout.
There's definitely differences in the object layout, but not a ton of them. I think it's just that White Acropolis doesn't have a lot of alternate paths up until the wide open section at the end. But
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, you can cheat your way through as platforming. You can cheat your way through climbing over the flat section, and
Fantastic.
that's about it. I think it's a perfectly serviceable level as far as
It was
Silver's concerned.
fine.
Yep.
I don't think I have any notes for this.
Yeah,
So,
it's
hey.
just repeat of what we did in Sonic's story,
Yeah.
essentially.
So hey, let's cheat our way through one of Sonic's boss fights next.
Mm.
Sort of. I mean, it's
I mean,
Egg
this
Genesis.
is the way it's designed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more so just like all of Silver's boss fights are kind of piss easy.
Good.
This
Yeah.
one was again kind of annoying, not as annoying as Iblis, but yeah, it's a little hard to aim, and something wrong with the camera in this fight. It tries to look at the boss, but if you move too close to it, then you can't see Silver, which is really annoying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hit, then you can't see any of the rings because they fixated on the bottom half of the boss.
Exactly.
That was the problem I was having. It's just like, oh, I got to retrieve my rings. Oh, never mind. I can't see any of the rings. I have to run all the way
Think
out
I
to
had
the
that
outer
problem
ring.
also?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
clearly it didn't leave that much of an impression on me because it was still not a particularly hard boss.
oh
So
no,
I'm-
it's not hard. It's just annoying.
I think what it is
I
is
guess
that-
mildly annoying, yeah.
There's not a lot of interesting ways for Silver to fight stuff, especially bosses in
Not
this
really?
game. It's like every boss is just you pick stuff up and throw it at it. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Honestly.
Which
they did try something a little here. I do like that you like knock pieces of the boss off so it falls apart over time.
Mhm.
Which is a little more satisfying when you're chucking stuff at it than when you're just hitting it in the head or whatever.
Fair.
I actually did get hit by the desperation crash attack when I was playing as Silver, but I had rings and I was able to pick it up while it was still colliding with me and pushing into me.
Yeah, it's really not a big deal.
It was really surreal watching it stick in place, and then the boss fight just awkwardly ended. Probably they should have made that a one-hit kill.
I mean, I hate one-hit kills at the end of the
I mean, I do
no.
too,
The way
but
it
if
is.
they're really easy to dodge, I can kind of forgive it.
Well, they hit you.
Well, yeah, that's because I was being stupid. I ran towards it.
That's true.
Oh, good job.
Anywho, so they beat the boss and they find the blue Chaos Emerald in the middle of this boss arena. What?
I
some reason.
assumed that it was powering the Egg Genesis.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
Except
Yeah,
here's the
fair.
problem. Here's the problem. The blue Chaos Emerald is with Elise, isn't it? You gave it to Sonic?
Well, okay, so I
I thought
figured
it
this was
at some point.
I figured this was a Sonic Adventure situation where the story is actually different in different character stories and yet also somewhat similar, so that
Sure,
no,
yeah.
it's just in a different place now. Don't worry about it.
That's kind of what I expected as well. It's like you're
It's-
seeing the story from the character's perspective.
Well,
Or
so
how
it's
they view the story.
possible, but here's the problem. The blue Chaos Emerald is a time traveler in this game.
Oh, so there's multiple blue chaos emeralds.
Oh, that
Yeah.
could also explain it, yeah.
Well, so I'm thinking that this is, it's possible that it could have been powering the robot. It isn't in Sonic's campaign, but I'm thinking
It's
that
a
just
different
when
Genesis, though.
You know what? Actually, yeah, that could lend credence to that.
I know, but the other one doesn't need it. What was the emerald? They're exactly the same.
Greg is more scared of silver.
It
I mean,
doesn't
I
do
would
anything
be
different.
too.
I mean, to be
Silver's
fair,
kinda
yeah.
scary, to be honest.
Well, yeah, he's like really edgy and has psychic powers.
Yeah, terrifying
Well,
combination.
Either way,
Honestly, yeah.
I used to think that the Blue Chaos Emerald in this game was a stable time loop, that it ended up here after leaving Elisa's grasp, only to be brought back in time later. But it's not. This is just where it ended up the last time the emeralds dispersed. I guess it's possible that Eggman put it in the thing, because my next question would be, why would Eggman not pick it up if it was there the whole time? Because he would be able to detect it, but
Greg's dumb.
maybe. Anyway, it's not a plot hole, it's just really confusing.
Yeah, fair.
Speaking of confusing, we cut back to Amy breaking into Eggman's base.
How the hell did Amy get there?
What was
When
her
did Amy
Her
get there?
girlish intuition.
Why is
I mean,
Amy
yeah, I
doing
mean-
this?
Yeah, well, she assumes Sonic is there, and said she finds Sonic's new girlfriend.
Yeah, she basically rescues Elise herself by accident.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it actually looks like Elise was already escaping because she
Elise
kind of
was
just
already
like
in the process
runs
of
out.
escaping.
Yeah, she just walks through a door with.
Again, Greg's an idiot.
Yeah, but it's very funny because Amy's like she sees Elise and is like, "Huh? Who are you?" Which is funny because she helped protect. I guess she didn't see Elise get kidnapped last time.
No, she didn't.
But yes, Amy saves Elise. Girl power, and we continue the theme of dramatic irony with Amy's character because they get back to the exact same New City town square as usual, and they introduce themselves to each other, and they're like both talking about a guy that Elise is secretly pining after, and they conveniently don't name him.
Yes, you'd think if you
Describe him.
or describe him, you'd think, if you like someone and you want to tell someone about them, you'd use their name.
Well, this is the point where I realize that they're definitely doing this on purpose because they've done this with Amy twice now between Silver and Elise.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think it's clever, but
Well, no, of course not.
No, it's not clever. It's dumb.
well, see, the thing is that like if Silver said it was Sonic, then Amy would try to stop him. If Elise said it was Sonic, then theoretically we don't know there'd be a problem. Now, based on the way that they write Amy during this era, she might physically attack Elise if she said she was pining
Well,
after
I was
Sonic.
I was gonna say Elise would die right
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say Silver mentions Sonic, Amy just kills him.
Yeah.
If Elise mentions Sonic, she breaks Elise in half.
Well, so that's the question, is whether this version of Amy is closer to the Sonic Rush Sonic X gag. Because Amy in most of this game is, I would say, still better on average. Like if the world was doomed, I'd still
True.
choose Sonic thing is a little weird, but I can chalk that up to being bad wording.
I think you have to, on the Sonic X on that scale, like Sonic X, Sonic Rush to like psychotic battle and Heroes Amy. I think this Amy so far is like kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because her next point I do actually kind of like, because she's super emboldened. She's like, I want to help you, Elise. I want to play matchmaker for you.
Sweet Jesus.
And in Sonic Frontiers, when Amy talks about sharing love with the world, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm thinking it's maybe something like this, like helping people find love.
Yeah, Amy seems like she'd want to be the matchmaker.
And I like that for Amy's character rather than just chasing Sonic.
Yeah, no, that's a lot more fun.
Also, they try so hard to make Amy look expressive here with like sparkles coming out of her eyes, but the animation is so bad, it just doesn't work.
Her mouth, I seem to remember her mouth is just like, it doesn't like make the emotions they want it to.
They just threw some confetti on the puppet and are like, look, it's alive.
The
Totally.
puppet.
I've seen more expressive puppets.
I've seen more of an
True.
expressive mascot suits.
Her
They're like
eyes
the
are just so
wacky
dead, they
inflatable-
just rotate with her head. It's bad.
Actually, no. The wacky inflatable tube men have way more emotion.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yeah,
I gotta say the whole thing.
of
It's
course.
a fucking Family Guy gag. What am I doing? Anyway, so
is?
it means that we get to play as Amy after this. Oh no.
No.
We get a town
Yay.
section where we have to fight off Eggman's robots trying to recapture Elise.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just a combat thing. It's not really a big deal.
Admittedly, it's I think it was a little more enjoyable.
I abused the invisibility power and had no trouble.
I'd already forgotten the invisible power.
Yeah, I
existed.
forgot that as well.
You fools!
I just did it legit, but honestly,
I
when it
don't-
was just combat, it was kind of.
I
Yeah, it's not
didn't
really a
forget
big
about
deal.
the invisibility. I just to take my anger out on the robots.
Well, you're a real gamer, Chad.
Yeah, I mean-
Sure.
Like with before, it technically functions. It just doesn't feel very good.
No.
At one part in this mission, there's a spike ball that falls from the sky, and it fell right on a box that just stunned a bunch of enemies. I'm like, thanks.
Thanks, that's God.
Yeah, basically.
God has no place in this game. Let's be honest.
There is no God
True,
in
though.
Sonic, or maybe too many gods.
Yeah. But so Amy does indeed beat the robots, except not really, because everything Amy did turned out to be completely pointless. Elise makes it back to her castle, only to be captured again.
God,
Is this
fucking
her
damn
castle?
it.
It's really hard to tell.
I think it's the same one that she leaves when she like goes to Eggman willingly.
It's just weird because she's all on her own. Like, there's no one there to greet her.
That's what I said. I was like, where are the guards?
Yeah.
Elise doesn't need guards. She's too powerful, or she's powerful enough.
The guards don't do shit in this game anyway.
Exactly.
No, they
No,
get
yes.
in the way. They're very good at that.
But yes, let's just be clear
True.
here. Elise was captured 4 times in Sonic's playthrough.
Yeah.
But there was an entirely unrelated 5th rescue and kidnapping of Elise that happened completely off screen from Sonic.
That
Yep.
Sonic will never know about.
5 times. That's our final number. That's what the dings were about. So that was more filler for a playthrough already full of it. I guess the character interactions were something, but it's like we did all that, and then it's like, meanwhile, back at the plot.
Yeah.
Because now, Silver and Blaze catch up with Mephiles. Hi, Mephiles. Why did you split us up? Oh, you're not going to answer? Fine.
That must be what they're doing, because I don't really understand Mephiles' deal. They're just standing here like, what are you doing? Go kill the Iblis Trigger. And Blaze and Silver are like, you got it, boss. But, like, why isn't he doing something? Like, can't he help as well?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, because, like, we were just going to find Eggman to find Sonic, and now we're not doing that. And now we're kind of confronting Mephiles, because Silver is like, who's the real Iblis Trigger? And Mephiles is like, shut the fuck up, kill Sonic. That's all that matters. Just kill Sonic. It's like he's
Silver's
so
like,
obviously
righto.
he so obviously doesn't want to talk about it. It's like, maybe at this point you should think Mephiles isn't totally worth trusting.
Maybe he just doesn't like Silver.
I mean, understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. No, I mean I love Silver. I just don't love this Silver.
You don't like
But,
this Silver.
But he says, this is the only way to save the future. And then the guy in the motion capture suit does, yes, this hilarious little twirl off the side of the screen like a ballerina. Did he think the
Learning that
cameras
this game
couldn't
was
see him?
mocapped. Learning this game was mocapped made every cutscene like a million times funnier.
Because you're imagining
Need
the
to
actors
release-
doing it.
Yeah,
Yep.
release some footage of the actors.
I want to
doing
see
it.
the mocap footage. That would be
motion.
hilarious.
Oh, screw the ugly Sonic cut. Yeah, show the Sonic 06 live action cut.
Fucking A.
Knuckles' actor just like flop over from that one cut.
So, now we're doing the second Finding Sonic confrontation.
Whee.
So we have to head for Radical Train, and along the way, I decided to pick up Silver's teleport dash upgrade, and boy, was that a waste of money.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
It will not let you proceed if you don't.
Oh, really? It doesn't let you otherwise?
Yeah,
I
you
walked to the
actually have to
station.
buy it and then
Yeah.
walk back to the station, and it will activate them.
What the
It's
hell
really
is the point
weird.
of that? So question
Apparently-
1, why tie those things together? The teleport
Good
dash and the
question.
stealth mission have nothing to do with each other. Question 2, what the fuck is with the teleport dash? It's the most bullshit, useless upgrade in the world.
It really
Except
is.
if you're a speedrunner.
Yeah, but we're not speedrunners.
I don't want to speedrun this game. And actually, it's not useful for speedrunners, because speedrunners do the glitch where they pick up an item and jump on top of it at the same time to send Silver flying through the air.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
but you can like clip through walls with this if you do it right.
Maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, you double tap the A button and it launches you forward 2 staggering feet.
He's trying his best.
It can
Yeah, I never
kind of
used
speed
this.
up your movement in the hubs, maybe.
I didn't even think of
It
that.
didn't help me. I did try that and it didn't really do much, it seemed.
Huh.
Yeah, it is terrible. This is if the game had even the slightest modicum of playtesting, they probably would have just removed this.
I mean, I can't really think of like what use could it have, or could you make something like that have? And I can't think of anything.
Yeah, not much. Speaking of useless, let's talk about the stealth mission. You just walk through.
Yeah,
I didn't walk through. I just walked around.
basically.
Yeah, I think I walked to actually.
It's like
Occasionally pausing, but
I didn't even
yeah.
pause.
there's guards patrolling the station, and the game's like, oh, it's a stealth section. There's all these barrels you hide behind. You could just walk in a straight line.
If I want to play a stealth mission, I'll go play Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
braced myself for this, but then it was really easy, so I couldn't
Oh,
even really
yeah.
get mad at the fact that this is so out of place.
Yeah,
no,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. I can't even be mad at it. I'm just confused.
well, because when I think of forced stealth sections, I think of primarily Zelda games and how much I hate those.
yeah.
I mean, I like Zelda games. I hate the forced stealth sections. But it's like,
Of course, correct.
I guess this is one way to do it. If you make the forced stealth section so unbelievably easy that no one could possibly fail it,
I guess.
Sure, I guess.
you know, better too easy than too hard. I would say that's a good rule for gaming in general.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you can beat a game that's too easy.
Yeah.
But, so, Radical Train, Silver, it is basically the same as Sonic's, except there's no trains to save.
Which is actually quite different. What are you talking about? The fact that there's not that and there's no Mach speed section. Well, actually, there's a big open area too that is not. You don't play with Sonic.
Are you sure? I don't
Not big open, but it's just a wide area that
I
you
think
like.
I know what Lauren's talking about.
Like there are elevator puzzles that you use psychokinesis to weigh down certain parts.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
You don't
the
do that
Sonic
as
version.
Sonic.
Well, so you don't do that as Sonic, but I think you do go there. It's just you get sort of sent over it, basically. Because I think
Well,
it's
I
all the
didn't
same
notice
map.
it as-
I don't know. Maybe the sense of
whatever.
urgency makes it harder to take in the surroundings. And,
Can Silver grind? Because I couldn't get grind rails above the trains to work here for some reason.
so here's a weird thing. Silver can grind on rails, but only in the multiplayer.
What?
Huh?
Yes. Silver can rail grind, but he can't rail grind in single player, and this is the only stage with rails to grind on for him. They just don't work in this stage.
Fascinating.
That feels like a bug.
I don't think
Kind
it
of.
is.
Yeah.
Because Sonic and Shadow are the only ones I believe that can. Maybe actually Omega can grind and Blaze can grind, but
Also,
most
did you say
characters in this game can't.
multiplayer, or we gotta play the multiplayer for this
Of
sometime?
We're
course we
gonna
do.
at some point. We still have to upload the adventure multiplayer and I guess Sonic Battle. But yeah, Radical Train is boring. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it.
This train wasn't very radical.
It never was, to be honest.
That's true. It wasn't as Sonic either.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very straightforward level, no problem,
Yeah,
whatever.
I
Yeah.
just ended up breezing through this level, so yeah,
Yeah.
no notes from me.
Well,
Yeah.
breezing is a bit of an overstatement for anything Silver does, but I get what you're saying.
In comparison to other silver levels, I was
It's
able
not
to
that
Sure,
long.
yeah.
Yeah.
go straight through this. Yeah,
This might have been Silver's shortest level for me.
It is only one map. There's no load screens or anything.
Holy shit,
Oh,
a Sonic
God.
06 record.
Indeed.
No. Dusty Desert is Sonic doesn't have loading screens. Tropical Jungle is
I
Silver
don't-
doesn't have loading
I don't
screens.
acknowledge any stages that involve me carrying Elise.
Yeah, that disqualifies it. It counts as a loading screen.
Yeah. The entire stage is a loading screen.
It's an
Yep.
leasing screen. Anyway, time to repeat another cutscene from Sonic's playthrough.
Yay.
Sonic and Elise are stopped by Silver, Eggman captures Elise, Silver goes to fight Sonic is saved by Shadow, but now we move forward a little bit, because now Silver and Shadow are actually going to fight, and we also have the additional context to Silver believing Shadow is Mephiles, because they look alike. Now, why he believes
God.
that we still don't have the context for.
God, Silver thinks all hedgehogs look alike.
I mean, I think he realizes pretty quickly that it's not Mephiles.
No, of course.
Well, yeah, Shadow
Temporarily.
introduces himself properly as the Black Arms hedgehog monstrosity that he is.
He
Yeah,
should have
that-
called himself that.
That would have been great. Yeah, it feels a little wrong somehow to have Shadow just jump in and save Sonic.
It does
Straight
feel
up.
a little random.
I mean, they were quote-unquote working with each other, so maybe this is still part of that.
guess.
I guess it seems
definite-
kind of strange for his
It definitely
character, though.
brings to mind every classic Dragon Ball Z movie where Vegeta will save Goku and then say, "I'm the one who's supposed to beat Kakarot, not you, villain of the week."
Basically.
Yeah, like there's no excuse like that. If there was something like that, I would have accepted it. Like, oh, Sonic is needed to stop something or whatever, so you're gonna have to go through me or whatever. But he just like, no, I'm gonna fight you.
Yeah.
You're not important enough to fight Sonic. You're gonna fight
Well,
me
and
instead.
as we'll
That
see
would have
after
been
this
great.
fight, it messes up the power scaling.
God.
Because, case in point, Shadow's boss fight, there is more stuff littering the arena, and Shadow is definitely more aggressive than Sonic, but he fights pretty similarly.
Basically.
Yeah, but he has lightning fast homing shots.
Oh, he has the Chaos
That's
Spear,
not
yeah?
his health bar.
Yeah, those are pretty annoying.
That was
No.
kind of annoying. Other than that, this fight was also pretty easy.
It's not that hard. I think it was pretty fine
Yeah.
overall. There aren't enough
It's-
projectiles around to just shred through his health in 2 seconds, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but it's
that
not
was
bad.
funny.
Yeah, when I say there's more stuff littering the arena, what I mean is there's more obstacles because there's trains going back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And definitely, Shadow getting stuck on trains is something that happened to me. That happened to you guys?
I
No.
think you might
He got
have.
stuck on the thing in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
That little upper area. I think for me, he got stuck up there for a split second.
Huh.
But one trick pony that he is, as usual, Silver fights the same way, which is that you pick up stuff and you throw it at him. So bit mindless, but I'll take that over whatever the hell Sonic's campaign was doing. So
Yeah.
and now comes the best cutscene in the game. It's everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silver tries to punch Shadow, but Shadow whips out the emerald and uses Chaos Control to. He doesn't stop him in time. He slows him down a lot, and then he roundhouse kicks Silver in the back of the head.
Good. I
It
wish I
is-
could do it.
Silver needed it.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
It is funny, but like honestly, he didn't even need to use chaos control for that. Like that's way
Honestly,
less
no.
impressive than all his uses of chaos control in like SA2. He
It's-
should have just like dodged and slapped him.
It's the pettiness of it is what it is, because Silver is running at him with fist outstretched, which means he's not even using his psychokinesis, which means that he's weak as shit. So Shadow, it's Shadow dunking on him is what it is. That's what makes it impressive, is just like, oh,
True.
you think you could do that?
Shadow's just like, that's adorable. And just like smacks
But,
Silver.
excuse me, Silver beats Sonic. Shadow and Sonic are supposed to be roughly evil, but here Shadow just beats Silver. It's messing up the power scaling. No, I don't care about that. But, Silver does take inspiration from this. He decides, oh, well, if you can use Chaos Control, then so can literally anybody else. Just anyone.
You just watch it once and you know how it works.
Basically, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Fucking Amy,
Stares at
Knuckles, you guys do
Pikachu.
it too?
Well, Knuckles definitely could.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
I would
Amy
believe
only
Knuckles.
Amy can only do it if she takes off her limiter rings.
True.
Anyway, Silver decides to try Shadow's trick back on him, but the two end up awkwardly posing in a way you could only do by deliberately choreographing it. But they use Chaos Control both at the same time, which, as we know, causes a time portal to appear.
For some reason.
That's how it works now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shadow's like, you know, Mephiles is a bastard who wants to delete time from existence or something. Jump in this portal with me. And it's like, why do you guys know? You made this by accident. How do you know where it's going?
Maybe Shadow didn't do it by accident. He knew this was all gonna happen.
I guess.
Shadow's
Yeah.
just 10 steps ahead of everybody else.
Precognition, baby.
Time portals just take you wherever is convenient, but
The time portals are the true omnipresent plot reader.
what's that in the grass over there? Is that the script? Or I can't be stealing Plinkett bits. Anyway, yes, so they jump in the time portal, and they arrive in the right place. It is an underwater science base beneath Soliana's ocean.
Oh hey, I know this place.
Yeah, so do
Yes,
I.
we've
I
seen
hated it the first time.
Well, we're not at the stage just yet. We get to see, we finally get to see the Solaris event or whatever it was called that Princess Elise talked about before. So we get to see her dad. It's the Duke of Soliana, gray hair beard man.
Just
He's
an
just a
old
guy.
white guy.
Yeah, but he's doing some wacky research experiments with these other scientists, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're doing some light up orange shit. I don't know. Things look really dangerous. You know, the reaction goes out of control. Oh my gosh! And randomly, 6-year-old Princess Elise is here. Just walks into the room, no protective gear. How did she get in there?
Why was she at the base? Why wasn't she at the castle?
What
or
is
at a
happening?
daycare or something?
Yeah, doesn't it have a chancellor? Is that what a chancellor does? I don't even fucking know.
I was gonna
No,
say,
sure, why not?
royalty, she should have like a nanny.
Yeah.
Unless she ran away from the nanny. who was
Just put her in
like,
a fucking
"I wanna find
daycare.
my dad."
Yeah,
Put her
just
in a
sit there, watch your My Little Pony, Elise. I was like, is that what a Chancellor does? I realized that I'm saying that because the evil Chancellor from Zelda Spirit Tracks is like, who would have thought Chancellor just means royal babysitter?
It's true though, and it's definitely correct.
Kind of, yeah.
But in any case, yes, for some reason Elise is here, and so the Duke jumps up because it's like, oh no, I have to protect my daughter because a big explosion happens. And everybody dies except the two of them.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, for the most part, he seems like he's kind of fine.
Well,
For
I mean,
now.
I guess I'm assuming they die. He's the only one that gets up, but he eventually does die, so...
Yeah. Okay, but when he dies, it's like he just falls over, bro. He looked fine.
We'll get to it.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, excuse
Yeah,
me.
we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
I know.
But the thing that was in the big science tube split into a burning fireball and a black liquid shadow. And Shadow's like, that's Iblis and Mephiles. So,
Yeah.
The rumor come out. Originally, our two monster villains were two halves of one whole.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And then the Duke is like, oh, you have to take this magic rock thing. Scepter. We don't know what that is yet.
Magic wand.
Yeah. So, yes, the two of them have to run off to chase both monsters, and now we get Silver's version of Aquatic Base. Except we don't, because after like a minute we switch over to Shadow.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. I mean, they could have changed it more. I got a little more creative with it. But having another stage in the past, like, oh, you know, it was a old Soliana base taken over by Greg, but now you get to see the Soliana base back in the day when it was used by Soliana. That's pretty cool, and you do get demons instead of robots here, so that's a little different.
Yeah, it is funny to think that the second that Iblis and Mephiles were split, they were like, all right, get the monsters out.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that's just gameplay.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it is a little weird. Anyway, it's not an amazing stage, but it's nice to hear the music again. I do like the music still.
Yeah. But yeah, we start Silver Stage and almost immediately switch over to playing as Shadow, which isn't that bad a change as going from Sonic to Silver, because Shadow plays a bit more like Sonic. He's pretty straightforward.
Well, you barely get to play to his style. He just fights a bunch of enemies and that's it.
I hate to tell you this, Lauren, that is his style.
Oh no.
No, I'm being facetious. There's more to it than that. But yeah, there's a lot of mashing the A button in Shadow's gameplay. Yeah, we'll leave it there. That's I think we could talk more about Shadow in Shadow's playthrough. So, the rest of Silver's Aquatic Base is very similar to Sonic's, even down to the room where you can just fly over the bottomless pit by going to the left.
I mean, yeah, kind of similar. It's different because you're playing as Silver now. There are psychic points that just deactivate things now. I don't get how that works.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a magnet, so you activate it, and then that destroys all the enemies for some reason. But also in certain rooms, it'll track the mercury balls or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool that the mercury balls are all over the place. You can now use as projectiles against the enemies. That's pretty neat.
And you're gonna be doing a lot of that because this level introduces something Sonic never had to fight, which is Mephiles monsters. Normally we have Iblis monsters, those are the orange ones.
Oh yeah.
But Mephiles monsters are purple. They have lasers where they previously had fireballs, and they have more health.
I don't like the more health, but I do like some more variety. That is kind of cool using the same enemies, but then they attack differently. And they're purple. I want a full range of colored demons now.
What's the green part of Iblis?
Acid, I guess.
Florga. I don't know. Something plant related.
Yeah, that would. I got a little confused here when you loop around to like the big circular room that you fought the enemies at, and I'm just like, okay, wait, what?
Yeah, now you have to go after a different exit.
Yeah, the game's very bad at pointing you in the right direction sometimes.
Yeah.
Because no purple gem this time, I actually had to do like the floating orb bits, but well, so you don't have the smaller ones, but you have the big ones. Not really too bad, but
they really aren't that bad.
It's one
test of patience.
It's one point where Silver being slower than Sonic is actually a good thing because the laser gates are slower as well, so running between them is a little bit not as tense. So
it is possible though to like jump to a platform that has a switch, and then the orb just flies away, and then you can't get it anymore. And so you're just like, well, guess I'll kill myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that part of that, and I already don't love Aquatic Base in general, just because I think that it's just structurally very boring. So.
I don't know. I really like the environment. I think it's got a good vibe. It's cool to see, like I said before.
No, I mean, I get it.
The underwater. Oh, and often there are big bottomless pits that are just boring black voids. But there are some areas where you're actually going over water, which makes sense in an underwater base. I don't know why they don't have that for all the big pit sections. That would make more thematic sense. But it's cool when they do that. It's a nice.
I'm trying to imagine what the scientists could possibly have used the big pit areas for.
Oh,
like
well,
how...
I mean, whenever you're in like a facility in a video game, it doesn't make sense design-wise because it's a game. It's a platformer. Don't think about it.
You are correct, but in Eggman bases, it makes sense that, like, diegetically that could exist, because Eggman always flies around, and all of his employees are robots. He doesn't care if they fall, and if they're probably programmed not to most of the time.
Fair.
Yeah, so if it was water, that would at least make more sense.
Yeah. That's where they keep the extra dolphins. You can see dolphins through the windows, but
Actually, it's really funny. When you first see the windows, Silver's like, oh, this is underwater. Oh yeah, he wouldn't know that.
That's true, he wouldn't.
he doesn't know where the hell he is, so yeah.
This level has a ton of enemy gauntlets, though. Like, it's pretty annoying.
Oh yeah, they love to lock you. They also love to make the lighting really red and the alarms go off while you fight enemies, just in case you were a little too comfortable with the combat.
Yeah. But luckily, the stun move allows you to even throw around demons, whereas I don't think you can do that with the slap. I don't think you can slap them, but you can stun them.
Well, so the regular monsters that aren't armored, you can. The armored ones, I think you can stun them with the slap, but you have to hit them while jumping.
Yeah, well, either way, it's much easier with the upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that's that level. And it's very funny, right? Because we do that level, and then we catch up with our characters, and we see, despite being mortally injured, the Duke of Soliana survived, and I guess he caught up with us. He managed to limp through that entire stage.
I want to see him
know how that
doing
works.
the big balls.
Yeah. I want to see him doing the
Like-
loop-de-loops.
There's probably
There,
like
yeah.
a better way to get through the facility he knew of that Silver and Shadow didn't know of.
Oh, yeah, he's like, you guys, you can just take the back door.
Yeah, it's like he literally could have just
Not his
stepped through
voice.
here.
It would be so easy, too, because all they would have had to do was, like, oh, there's this locked door, you have to take the long way around, and then Silver, like, activates the switch, and then that's how the Duke gets over. But no, they don't bother to explain things in this game, of course.
Yeah. Silver is trying to contain Iblis with his psychokinesis, but he can't do it. He doesn't have the royal flames in his heart, whatever that means.
Yeah, I guess he got past to Elise already.
He's a
Yeah.
peasant.
So the Duke decides, all right, we need to seal this bastard inside my 6-year-old daughter. I got just the Chaos Emerald to do it. And he pulls it out from behind him, so it looks like he's pulling it out of his ass too, just like Sonic. Even though he has pockets, he has clothes, he could just have it in his pocket.
Harder to animate, though.
I guess so. So, yeah, we're placing the demonic god of destruction inside a tiny child. Good dad moments.
Yeah, you know.
He was literally on the edge of death. Like, he had to do something now, or
I
yes,
yes,
the god gets to wreck the world.
I know, but it's so strange to me how this game, you know, in flashbacks and stuff, keeps trying to paint the Duke as like a loving father doing everything he can for his daughter, and like he strokes his hair and tells her how strong she needs to be, never cry, just suppress all your emotions. And in Sonic's cutscene, I mentioned, he told her that before she had Iblis inside her, because he dies right after this and is alive to say that in the flashback.
Yeah, that bit doesn't make much sense.
Also, she's completely unconscious in this scene, so I don't know why he's telling that. Does her subconscious hear it?
Look,
Can you
when
do that?
when you're about to die, you want to let some things out. Like,
Does
it
that
doesn't matter if
happen
you
where
hear it.
like if somebody says something to you while you're asleep, you can hear it and like internalize it in any way? Is that a thing that happens?
I've heard of that happening in comas or and sometimes in dreams.
Yeah. Let alone the suspension of disbelief it would take to say the 6-year-old girl in 10 years would not cry after her father dying or for any other reason.
Well, she
But,
doesn't apparently.
I know,
Yeah,
but
apparently.
it's stupid. But at least things are moving forward. You know, at least we're at least doing something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shadow is ready to head back to the future, having contained Mephiles in ways that we won't see until later.
There's actually a pretty decent Shadow character moment here, because Silver is like, "Oh, you're just gonna leave the staff here," and Shadow is like, "Yeah, I already know what's happening to it, so I'm leaving it here." It's very in line with like Sonic Adventure and even Sonic Battle, where he's kind of all about like, this is the destiny that has been set forth. I can't change it.
Yeah. And that actually plays into the themes of Shadow's playthrough, because Shadow's playthrough actually has fucking themes. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Damn.
And Silver just puts Elise up against this tree outside the science facility and is like, oh, don't worry, they'll handle it. Where is this? She gonna be okay? She was injured.
I mean, clearly she.
Yeah, I mean, she's
yes,
gotta
I
be.
know. It feels a little unsafe. And Silver adds to that by leaving her the blue Chaos Emerald as a lucky charm, which means that, yes, for every Sonic game that we've seen in the main timeline up to this point, there's been 2 blue Chaos Emeralds existing in the world at any given point due to the power of time travel.
Oh boy.
I don't know what, like, emerald trackers we've seen up to this point that could potentially throw a wrench in that, but I also don't care.
Depending on how changing time works, it's also possible that that wasn't the case back in those games, and then rewriting history here, Silver changed time.
I guess inevitability. Whatever. let's go back to the present, where Blaze is conveniently waiting for Silver. What the hell happened to her? She just disappeared when it was time to go to Radical Train.
The plot didn't need her.
Why does this
That's
keep
right.
happening in this game? It's this is also one of the laziest cutscenes, because in this scene there is supposed to be a crowd of people like gossiping about the state of things with the princess and Eggman, and Silver and Blaze turn and Silver says they're very noisy, but they just don't show anybody. There's no human models in the scene.
To reduce the lag.
Possibly, yeah. I don't think the game mostly doesn't lag during cutscenes, though. Yeah.
Yeah, because they do stuff like this.
Apparently. It's very, very amateur looking. But Silver decides that because of everything he's seen, and because he knows that Mephiles is bullshitting them, that Sonic is not the Iblis trigger. And, took you long enough. And,
Yeah, honestly.
yeah, so Blaze says Eggman is trying to use Iblis's power. And, now would have been the perfect time to have that level where they go chasing after Eggman instead of now when that level just didn't matter.
Oh well.
Yeah. Eggman's not at the White Acropolis base anyway, so it's not like it would matter, but, yeah, this was the part of the Sonic story where Elise gave herself up willingly to Eggman, but now we, for some reason, have to protect her advisor?
Oh god.
What's going on?
Mission.
The mission says Anna knows the secret. What secret? What are you talking about?
It's a secret even from the player.
I
She
don't
knows
get
the
it. I don't understand this story.
I think she
completely
knows the way to get to Kingdom Valley or something.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
yeah.
that's what it is. Which is, Sonic didn't need to talk to her. Okay. Also, is she the one that sent Tails to Wave Ocean arbitrarily? Is that this same person?
I think so,
Probably.
yeah.
To say that
Yeah.
I suddenly don't remember.
It's been 30 years since I seen that hedgehog.
Exactly.
Mm,
Anyway, yes, this mission, it is a lot of enemies to fight. It goes on for way too fucking long. And
It
it's
is
an
very
escort
long.
mission.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
an escort mission where the NPC likes to run right in the middle of the battle.
She has a lot of health, but it's still not good.
I didn't actually end up having a run out of health, but I got very close, and it was very stressful. Also, because I'm an idiot, I died once by just falling in the water. I died another
Ooh.
time by just not picking up a ring at the beginning of the stage. And there are a lot of loading screens every time you lose in this stage, because they have to berate you, being like, I thought you'd protect Anna. Guess you
Ooh.
didn't lose her.
Yeah, it's such a... And it's
Well,
so
like-
needless, Because it's like,
Why is Silver the one having to protect her?
yeah, it's
Yeah, one
just
of her
some lady
fucking
as far as he
guards.
knows. And it's like Sonic talked to one person to get the trials to get into Kingdom Valley. Silver has
Yeah.
to do this whole rigmarole. And then he has to do the trials on top of that.
That's the rules. Can't
Yep.
skip them. If you're Silver, that's just how it works.
Apparently. Now, that being said,
Apparently.
Silver's trials here are... What-
Really far away from where you join in the hub, I will have to say. You have to
yes,
walk all
you
the way
do
there
have to
for some
walk all
reason.
the way
Yeah.
over there, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the first one, they call it's the test of friendship. You have to save Blaze from some random monsters that just appear.
No biggie. Pretty simple.
It's more enemy fighting. That's all we really know what to do with this character.
Yeah, honestly.
The second test, I don't have anything else to say about the first test. That's the first test. You fight more enemies. Then Blaze says
Yeah,
thanks.
it's very straightforward.
Did they put her in that box? They were like, hey Blaze, come over here. We need to test your friend.
They lower her in with like cat treats.
That's it.
Yeah.
The second test is the trial of memory, where you have to remember the plot of the game you've been playing.
Very
I'm not
hard.
sure if it's actually a good thing that they think this is a legitimate challenge. But yeah, you
For some, it might
answer yes or no trivia questions, and I saw
Yeah.
Bruce get one wrong last night.
I wasn't. I to be honest, I only skimmed the question.
You weren't paying attention. I know.
Not really.
They could have put all these like questions in the same map, but they didn't. So there's
So
loading screen every time you
stupid.
jump through a portal. It's so
Yes,
great.
there is.
This
Yep, they
mission
have
has
to
like
reload the
6
whole map.
loading screens.
So the final test is called the Trial of Heart, in which you guessed it, more enemy fights.
What they should
Yeah.
have done instead is make me choose between Elise and Blaze.
Ah,
Like,
Silver. Pick between the woman you don't necessarily love or the woman you barely know.
Okay, Elise and or not Elise and Amy. Blaze and Amy.
Oh,
Still
Silver.
have the same problem.
Pick between the woman you don't necessarily love and the woman you barely know.
Okay,
So
what-
anyway, the actual challenge is supposed to be defeat enemies without random bits of debris to throw at them, but it's not really a problem because of the
Just
new
use their
stun move you
missiles.
have. It's pretty easy.
well,
Yeah,
that
you've
too. I
been
just
doing
use
that
missiles.
anyway in all the levels up to this point, so it's like, that's just normal.
Yeah.
If you had to do it with no rings like in Sonic, that would be one thing.
Oh, that would be terrible.
I'm not saying they should have done that. But yeah, let's move this along. Like with Sonic Story, Eagle flies down, take you up to the mirror gate at the top. Unlike with Tails, Blaze is not waiting for Silver at the top. Don't know where she is, just disappears again.
So she tries to follow you as you fly away on the eagle, but then she just like vaporizes.
Oh, does she just jump down and die?
I think she just jumps down and dies. You can kind of
Not
see
the
her
last
little
time that will
green
happen.
arrow.
Amazing partner AI.
Oh, it's not the last time that'll happen, but well,
Yeah.
at least Blaze jumping off and dying off
That's
the
what I'm
stuff.
talking about, yeah.
So, we get the cutscene where Silver saves Sonic from some robots and explains things have changed, just like in Sonic Story. And we head off to Kingdom Valley, which is also Silver's penultimate level, just like Sonic. I guess that's a coincidence mostly, but the level itself is somewhat different. You take a lot of routes that were not seen in his version of the level.
Yeah, it feels kind of open, but not aimless, wide acropolis. There are
Yeah.
definitely a lot of different ways to get around through the route.
A lot of knocking down towers to stand in the bases which are submerged in water.
You have to bend the bars at one point with psychic powers, but I don't think there's a hint indicator here. So I guess they expected you to finish Sonic's story before you did this.
Yeah, I mean, imagine getting there and they just...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, and they don't light up when he bends them or anything, and there's no, like, sign for pressing the palm on the ground, which I think Project 06 adds, which is probably the right thing to do. Because it's basically, it's just a context-sensitive use thing button.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This stage really goes all out with the enemies. You get some new enemies too. There are these big robots that have lasers that stretch like a mile wide. It's absurd.
Yeah,
That's
those
so
things can hit you from
much.
across the map.
Those are so annoying.
This is also the only time I remember seeing, I'm sure they're in other levels, but the red variety of those, because we saw the blue ones either. I don't know what the difference is. I guess the red ones probably have more health.
Yeah, I think it's.
Um,
And then on top of that, this level just has like so many enemies.
Yeah.
Like it's not like gauntlets. It's just like here, get through this huge wall of enemies, all equipped with projectiles, mind you.
yeah, and
Like-
there's a lot of precarious situation. There's a lot of that above, death water.
Oh yeah. Like I was feeling pretty overconfident before this level. Like after the trials, I'm like, I can take any number of enemies. It's fine. No, you cannot. You will die unless you're good. But first time, you will most likely die if you try to take out the enemies, because as you're trying to deal with one, there's 5 others that are shooting at you. It's just not a good idea. It's best to fly around them, which I did end up having to do through a lot of this. It was kind of an interesting challenge to dodge and weave through, though, I must admit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's for me. It's just that the combat has become mind numbing. It is tedious.
Honestly, yeah.
I think my problem was that anytime there was a multitude of enemies and they were firing at me, and I'm also trying to do the attack to like stun them, it would lag my game like crazy. So I would get
Mm,
hit and lose all my rings and like dying over and over again because I don't have
yeah.
my rings. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Kingdom
lag.
Valley broke me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the main reason this
yeah,
level is pretty hard. It otherwise is not too bad. Like navigation, like I said, is pretty open. You can take it a lot of different ways. Although there are some boxes you have to use to go over gaps, and like it's very tight with the psychic energy. Like I had to do it a few times to make it over without just running out and dying.
yeah. Well, and there's definitely a feeling of going through the motions in this stage because you get to Silver's section from Sonic's level, and then you do that again, and then it switches you over to Sonic, and you do part of Sonic's level again.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's yeah, it's repeating itself, and it's I don't really know why they even bothered. Like Sonic section is barely a minute long anyway, and if you remember Sonic's campaign, the end of the level isn't even that far away. So it's like,
Mm.
it would have been so easy to give Sonic section to Blaze and let Tails play through Silver section on Sonic stage. Both of them are supposed to be here for this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. The characters come and go like a anyway. But it isn't completely Sonic's final section because Silver can't rail grind as we established, so his last section is part that Sonic basically just automated his way through, where you have to make it across this large section of water, mostly through grabbing enemy missiles to throw at towers because there's nothing else to pick up.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, respawning enemies pretty rude.
And then there's a big fight at the end with more enemies. Wow, that's a lot of enemies. Sonic, you go on ahead. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck it. I don't even think that dialogue happens in this version.
Yeah, I must say, Kingdom Valley is the only stage that kind of started to frustrate me. I got one game over. I didn't get any game overs any other silver stage. Like I said, I kind of appreciated that the game slapped me in the face. It's like, no, you can't just take any number of enemies because it was feeling a little too trivial. It was a bit much and maybe not the right way to do that, though, I must admit. So yeah, this was one time I'll say I kind of started to not have fun playing a silver stage at one point.
Mm.
Yes, come to the dark side. Join us. Join us.
But yeah, respawning enemies and now respawning Blaze the Cat because she was gone and now she's back. It's it's the same cutscene with Sonic and Elise dying that we already saw. I don't think there's any differences. It's very funny how before this scene, Sonic says, "If I save Elise, that should save your future too." And they go back to their future and it's still on fire.
Yep.
Look, Sonic doesn't have a perfect knowledge of how time travel works.
That's my
Apparently
only
not.
assumption. He doesn't know how time travel works.
He's a fucking idiot.
But they don't say like, "Oh, he was wrong." No. Now it's like Sonic should have saved Elise by now, and Silver says, "No, I know how to save the future without killing someone innocent." And it's like, okay, for one thing, two characters just jumped into one time portal and came out two different destinations, but
yeah.
Silver says, "Even if I can't change the past, I can still save the future." And Blaze asks, "So you have a plan?" And then they walk off. What do you mean? What is going on?
It does become clear later.
Well, so yes, the implication in all of this is that Silver is going to save the future from Iblis without changing the timeline. But is that right? Because like you save it from Iblis in the long run, that still means the apocalypse happened. You're just gonna recover from the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he was born in the apocalypse, so it kind of makes sense that he's not super attached to reversing.
I guess, but nothing that happens for the rest of the story involves the future not being destroyed until the ending where they do want to destroy it. So I don't know what philosophically it's trying to say. Are we supposed to be okay and just move on with the future, or are we supposed to save it? I don't know.
Well, it's always a weird philosophical thing in stories with time travel or resurrection for that matter. Like, are you morally obligated to fix something, basically, that you could? And I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
For me, it's just funny because it seemed like they genuinely believed Sonic when he said, "My thing will save your future," and then they get back and they see that it still sucks, and then Silver's like, Well, anyway, we don't really need to save the past. Who really cares about that?
Silver's like, it's okay. I got a backup plan.
He just made this up on the spot.
He's just doing his best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, Silver's final stage is Flame Core, and in my notes, because I recorded it by dictating to my phone, it's written as Flynn Core here. That's not. Those comics aren't coming for a while though. But
yeah,
it is.
I braced myself in this stage. I was like, oh no, the game's really ramping up. But no, actually, this is not nearly as bad as Kingdom Valley was.
I would disagree. I fucking hate this stage.
What?
Yeah,
Huh?
no, this stage was
It
terrible.
just got tedious after. Actually, I'm trying to.
Well, it has a lot of enemies to fight, but the bigger problem for me is the RNG flaming rocks, which are an even bigger pain to dodge as a slower character.
I'm questioning if we played the same game, because the level is no longer than Kingdom Valley and Aquatic Base, so I'm like used to the length. The enemies are not a problem because you can just insta-kill them all with the stun move, basically. And as for the random projectiles, literally none of them hit me. They were not a problem at all.
Well, that's random for you. The other thing I would say is that this level is the only one in Silver's entire game where you hit a psychokinesis sign and it raises up platforms that you have a limited time to get to because they raise up higher than your jump can go.
I
Yeah.
think that's the only thing I had a problem with because I didn't realize that.
Well, why would you? No other stage does that. It's really weird.
Yeah, but I was still able to get through the stage more or less fine. I think I only died like once, and that was from one of the Iblis enemies threw their like weird spiky fireball thing at Silver, and he decided to walk on it and then fell off a ledge.
Yeah,
So
you
I
just
was
Sounds
got
like-
06 once, basically.
Why does it treat objects like floors that you can stand on? Boxes are one thing. Why enemy projectiles?
I don't know. It was funky.
knows?
But yeah, also I think at this point my brain was just once again melting. So this
That
level
might
did
also
feel
be.
like
It might just be
dragged
succumbing
on
to
a really
burnout.
long time. Yeah, I did. I spent 4 hours like straight playing the second half of.
Oh yeah,
I think
mean,
if
it's
I
long.
broke it down, I would have fared a lot better.
Maybe.
So-
The psychic platforms, I didn't understand how they worked, so I just avoided them and took a different route. So I didn't really bother with them.
Yeah.
I like, again, you've got the psychic flight, so like when you're doing the platforming over with the platforms that move over the lava, it's no problem at all. I was really scared that I was gonna have to light a bunch of orbs in the dark section.
Oh God,
but
yes.
You don't, luckily.
I still hate how dark it is, but yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the big distinguishing factor in Silver Stage is the ending, because you go a different path than Sonic, and you go to is this the Flame Core? I don't know what this is. It's a big
guess.
ball.
I assume it is.
It's like Iblis's source of power or something.
Yeah, I don't know. He says this has Iblis's power. What do you mean? I guess, but it's this big platform raising section where you have to hide behind rocks because the big ball shoots out shockwaves.
Once
then-
again,
Yeah.
this scared me at first. I was like, oh no, it's gonna be annoying. I'm gonna have no time. But no, the shockwaves like take forever to go out, so it is extremely generous. It is really no problem to get through here as long as you're patient.
You can go 2 barriers in one cycle, and yeah, it's so weird, right? Because you say, oh, it has Iblis's power, but here's the thing: at the end, you jump on top of it, you do a that's my sound effect. You do a psycho thingy on it, and it breaks at the end. But then you have the final boss after that, so I don't know. You sure did that, whatever that was.
It's the source of Iblis's power, so we weakened him.
Yeah, we
But
can.
it's
Yeah.
not. That's not what happened.
No, just accept it, Devin. It's okay.
Yeah, we're right.
It's the source of Iblis's power. He's
Okay,
weakened now.
okay. Next boss, final boss. Let's get this fucking shit over with.
Yes,
Silver
please.
and Blaze run forward, and it's Iblis's monster form again. He never saw the worm form, and you know what? Good for him.
Thank
Frickin' God.
This version has more armor, and I think it didn't have a tail before.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Don't know. I don't think it matters.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us care.
The fight is not much more exciting than the first one. He still throws a lot of rocks at you that you grab and throw back at him.
Okay, but this boss is really dumb because if you are not good at aiming or don't know the trick to get around that fact, you just will not do enough damage to the boss, and then it will just destroy the platform under you, and you will die.
Oh yes, this boss
You
has
can
a
destroy the
time limit.
platform?
Yep.
Yeah, if you take too long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he destroys the sides of the platform you're on first, and if you go too many cycles, he will destroy the platform that you're standing on.
Huh,
Yeah.
okay.
I saw
Well,
that a couple times
had
back in
us
the
tell
day.
you
I
what to do.
completely forgot about it for this, but you are correct. I did remember when you said that. He has one other attack, which is that he does this flame blade that you dodge over or under, but that's real easy. Also, sometimes when you damage him, you do it by jumping and doing the psycho thing on his head, which is like, you know, contextual button press. But what's hilarious is that the first time you do it, Blaze will try to jump after you and she'll fall and die and not come back for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, that was the other one I was talking about. It's like, yeah, that's not the final time that Blaze is going to jump off.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I stole your
was
thunder.
Like, yeah, that'll happen.
I was really I was like enjoying having a friend with me, and then she immediately kills herself.
What's really funny is in that part of the fight, Blaze is like, now jump on it, Silver. You're like, okay. And then they're like, "Gah!" And then they die. And then after that, Silver's like, Blaze, let's take it down together.
Let's finish this. And it's just like, on, my dude.
It's like it's like the guy sitting in the room imagining his wife is still there.
Ugh. That's a good joke. The joke I was gonna go for is that Blaze killing herself is surprisingly on theme.
It is also because we get to see that actually happen.
Yes, let's talk about this final cutscene, possibly the most confusing one in the game that inspired many a fan theory, and because what fans believe is happening here is that Silver tries to use the Chaos Emeralds to seal Iblis within himself, but can't do it because he doesn't have something, royalty, I don't know.
He's a
But
little
then
bitch.
Blaze, who is royalty from Silver's future, seals Iblis in herself, and Silver seals the two of them into a parallel dimension which either facilitates or outright creates the Sol dimension from Sonic Rush, making Sonic 6 a prequel to that game. That's not true. That's not what happens.
Yeah,
What
Pretty
actually
cool theory,
happens
though, actually.
is way
that's a
more
good theory,
confusing.
honestly. Yeah,
Because what happens is Silver tries to seal Iblis in himself, can't do it for reasons they don't tell you. Blaze says she'll do it because she has, and I quote, "I have flames in my heart as well." Then she asks Silver to freeze time and seal her in a parallel dimension with Iblis, but Silver does not do that because he doesn't want to lose Blaze. Then Blaze maybe goes burning Blaze because her cuffs turn pink, like in that film.
I'm pretty sure that is the burning.
yeah,
Blaze
it is
one.
supposed to be Burning Blaze.
And then she turns into a ghost and disappears.
Okay, well that
What?
I thought Silver was just like a wimp, pathetic, and he couldn't take on
Ooh.
Iblis. And so then Blaze is like, don't worry, there are already flames in my heart, as you said, which is actually pretty cool and ties into their character. It's like, no, I will be able to hold the flames inside of me. And then when Silver's like, no, I'm not going to send you away, then Blaze just kind of like dissolves herself with the power of her soulness or whatever.
Maybe
Just
that's
doesn't
what
know.
happens.
She's like, you're too weak.
That's our assumption. I don't know what she does, and I don't know where she goes.
I mean, I figured she just sacrificed herself to destroy Iblis.
Maybe she
Sure,
dies,
yeah.
maybe she goes home. I don't know.
It's not very important. The fact of the matter is that it's a cool Blaze moment, in my opinion.
And why
It
does
is
the
a cool
Chaos
Blaze
Emerald?
moment.
Why does this turn her burning, Blaze? Is this the Chaos Emeralds? Maybe it's Iblis. I don't know.
She just has the Soul Emeralds with her.
Yeah, she's the
That's
guardian of the Soul
Why didn't
Emeralds
she
as well.
do that before?
Well, because she was waiting for this moment, because otherwise they would scatter around the world, and then she'd have to go recollect them, and that would be really inconvenient. It makes enough sense, and I really like that this somewhat justifies Blaze being here for once, because like she's just kind of there for a lot of the game.
I don't know. It's really hard for me because, you know, she wishes him good luck in her goodbye, and also calls him naive again, just to show how much we haven't progressed a single fucking step across this playthrough. If it were not for the Sonic 06 Sonic Rush theorizing, I guess you would be right. I do think that it makes Blaze's journey way too much about Silver, but
Yeah,
as we've stated, I think those theories are wrong. You know, we've mentioned how plenty of things clarify she's still the Guardian of the Sol Emeralds from the Sol Empire. But I do want to state what I think, which is that, you know, because we can't trust that leaked script for everything. I mean, that's the same script that says that Blaze, like, gets insulted if you make fun of the size of her boobs, and it's like, why would you put that in there? Don't do that.
Sure.
real thing that Sonic Team wrote, by the way. But
I know.
fucking, what I think, okay? I think that the reason people believe that is because it feels like it should make sense. Because
Yeah.
you have the Sol Emeralds and Sol Liana. You have two different princesses of fire. You have Blaze starting out in a parallel dimension and then randomly ending up in Silver's future. You have Eggman Nega starting out in Blaze's dimension, and by Sonic Rivals, he'll clarify that he's Eggman's descendant from the future. That's a little bit of a spoiler, I don't care.
Whatever.
What I think is not that there was a secret prequel situation going on. What I believe is that at some point during development, Soul Dimension and Silver's Future were originally one location. It was one or the other, and then they changed it. That's what I think happened.
Yeah, I mean, that makes as much sense as anything else.
It's
I think-
crazy. I did not notice all those parallels until you laid them out like that. And I'm like,
That's like kind of obvious.
And
Yeah.
what I think is that the Duke, as he was laying down Elise, he was saying, the royal flame. So it's something that's passed down in the royal family. So I think that the
Sure.
reason that Blaze would have been able to seal Iblis is because she would have been a descendant of the Soliana royal family. Which means that somewhere down the line, some guy fucked a cat, but we don't have to worry about that.
We don't need to worry about that.
So that, that's not a direct confirmation of anything the fan theories say.
No.
And it definitely means that when she was asking to be sealed in a pocket dimension, that's what the Japanese version says, is pocket dimension. Which means that definitely is not the Sol dimension.
Well, unless the Soul Dimension is a pocket dimension, which is in theory possible.
We're gonna not worry about that.
Don't need to worry about it, yeah.
So the point is, in canon, it's all just a coincidence, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Blaze just died.
Damn.
that was my assumption.
Don't worry,
Uh,
she'll get better.
Well, everyone will get better.
That's true.
But as it happens, that's the end of the story, and it's a little weird because that's not a good ending for Silver at all. This is
Well, yeah,
this
because
is
it's
Left
not the
all
true
alone
ending.
in a destroyed future.
Yeah, it's pretty
well,
pretty
so
lame.
we got rid of Iblis, but that's it. And you used 2 Chaos Emeralds and sacrificed one person's life, which meant that you never had to go to the past at all.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, he messed up. He failed. He's a loser. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Well,
Honestly,
it's like,
yeah.
this is not a personal journey for Silver. He went back in time, fucked around a bunch, made a bunch of mistakes, went back, and his friend died, and that's it.
Basically.
And it's so weird because, like, Princess Elise at the start of the game sees Sonic and imagines Silver, and she's remembering him because he was in her past. It means nothing because
That's
she ends
very
up caring
true.
more about Sonic in the long run. And Elise basically doesn't even matter to Silver. It's like, here's a lucky charm. All right, bye. And just what do you take from this? The experiences he had with Shadow and Amy, do those mean anything to him? I don't know. The only thing that really changed his mind about anything was seeing Sonic a couple times.
Basically.
I mean, I think the idea is that sometimes you despite your best efforts to try to change the world and make it a better
you
place,
still just fail.
You still fail. But the fact is that he tried, and I
He
think
did
that's
try.
kind of what Blaze was getting at when she said you're so naive. Like you really thought you could just fix the whole world, but no, you can't just win easily. And then she sacrifices herself to finally put that in. Maybe he'll finally learn a lesson.
It's possible. The problem is that Sonic 06 isn't a parable about how you can't actually change history. And also Sonic CD, there's probably some about the fact that time travel solves that game. But and I do think that you're right, Lauren, because here's the thing. One of my favorite games, at least it used to be, I haven't played it in a while, but one of my favorite games was Bastion. And in Bastion, the world is destroyed, and you spend a lot of the time trying to invent a machine that turns back time. But as you go through the game, your experiences build up, you make more connections, and by the end of the game, one thing that one of the characters tells you is, everything that I would want to relive happened after the calamity, not before. And so she's encouraging you to not destroy the world and instead, rebuild society from here. And I think
Sure.
that that's what Lorne is getting at. And, Sonic 06 is the ultimate I get what they were going for kind of game most of the time.
Fair.
So I don't think you're
Yeah.
wrong. I do think that this is a terribly told story in any respect, and Silver is not a good protagonist for it.
I mean, that's true.
I guess there was a little more to chew on than in Sonic's story, but there was still a lot of just padding.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing. It's just a lot of pointless running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I still like Silver's story more than Sonic's story, simply because Sonic's story was way more frustrating, died a whole lot, felt way more unfair. Silver's story was slow and tedious, lots of filler, that didn't change, but at least it was more manageable by and large. There were a few moments here and there, but yeah, it wasn't painful, really.
It was a little painful for me, but
It was
that's what we
pretty
have different
painful for
opinions
me.
for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say your opinion's invalid because it's different from mine.
But yeah, yeesh. Certainly took us a while.
Yeah, almost 2 hours. It's way longer than we were expecting.
How do you guys feel about the credits theme? Because I absolutely love it. It's my favorite
I
theme in the
skipped
game.
it.
I do like
How
Dreams of an
dare you.
Absolution. It's all right. It's
Kayla, I was so done with this story.
I do think it's
You
funny,
literally
actually.
could
I
just
want
play
to
in the
talk about this
background.
for a second. Sonic characters in the adventure games, their theme songs are very literal. They basically explain their personality, their life goals. This song does not do that. This song, according to Bentley Jones, who wrote it, he says, "I wrote this thinking about an ex-boyfriend,"
Sure. Yeah, I've heard that. I've read that.
which is funny.
That is
I don't know
funny.
anything about Silver in that regard. It's funny. I related to Silver as a bisexual because that was jokes that people made about Silver back in the day, and I related to Silver as a bisexual before I knew I was bisexual. It doesn't really have anything to do with about saving the world of time travel, though.
I mean, not everything has to.
That is hilarious. So that makes the theme even better. I don't pay attention to the words. It's just got an interesting vibe to it.
Sure.
But that's great.
I'll have to go back and listen to it on the soundtrack.
I do
almost
think that
wanna
it's
try to do like a lyrics analysis of it. Like actually
that's
look at the
something we could do
lyrics
for a
and see
bonus
if I
episode.
can look and like try to relate it to Silver somehow.
Oh, that could
I
be
feel like it could be
that could
there.
actually be interesting to go back and look at the adventure 1 and 2 character themes and then also this song.
Yeah, I do think that Silver's is probably the best post-Adventure 2 character theme. At least the most fitting for his character. Not
Does
that
All
they're-
Hail Shadow count as a character theme yet?
I mean, it's a theme for a character that already had one. I don't know. And actually,
Sure,
I'm wrong,
yeah.
because actually fucking Infinite is incredible, so what am I talking about?
Well, someone has to think Infinite's cool.
His
I
theme
I don't
is.
think
his
Infinite is
theme.
cool. I think that his song is good. Infinite I love because he's a pathetic fucking loser.
He is a
Um,
pathetic
Like
loser.
Silver.
Like Silver.
Yes.
Oh my
Apparently that
God.
makes you have good theme music.
It's all connected, folks.
The conspiracy is real, but we will not find out the truth until next time, because I believe that that is where we're gonna end off for tonight. I think we've said our piece.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
Silver's
I think
over.
so.
Thank
Yep.
God. Let's hit him
I'm
with a
glad
brick.
Silver's over. Like,
Shadow's story is the best narratively and gameplay wise. It's okay. It's all right. It's not as frustrating as Sonic, but it's not as boring as Silver. But it doesn't have the high moments of Sonic for me. We'll get to it. We'll move on to Shadow next. We're doing Shadow next time, baby.
Oh, I thought we were playing as Big the Cat next time.
Disappointing.
yeah, that's how
Damn.
you know this isn't actually an adventure title game because there's no Big the Cat.
Yeah, he is in
Yeah, we
Adventure
talked
2.
about that before, but it's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
A shame.
Damn.
But that is going to be next time on Deep Dive Zone. For now, we are done for tonight. Thank you all for being here. Lauren, Bruce, Kayla, love you guys. Thank you to our viewers for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, or feedback, you can reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. I am really hungry. I'm going to sign off. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And take care.